couldn't see you there, but I'm glad you're here with me at the gym because it is a new year, meaning you're here to get in the best shape of your life. So with that said, here are the 5 things you should avoid in order to build more muscle more optimally. Let's get it. All right, so the first thing you want to avoid specifically in the gym if you want to build muscle more optimally is avoid doing too much volume. Now, volume is simply the amount of working reps you're doing, multiplied the amount of sets you're doing, multiplied by how much weight you're actually using. However, most people consider volume in terms of how many reps and sets you're doing overall. And generally speaking, if you look up beginner's upper body workout, beginner's chest workout, arm workout, whatever it is, if it's more bro split based, chances are the volume of that workout is probably pretty high. Now, generally speaking, if you look anywhere, they say that 10 to 20 sets per week per muscle group is optimal for muscle growth. However, depending on your intensity, how hard you're pushing, how much time you have in the gym, what your workout split is, so if you're doing a bro split where you're only hitting that muscle group once per week, 10 sets can actually be a lot of sets. So I like to actually bring this down to at minimum 5 to 10 sets per muscle group. I would keep it at around 4 to 5 sets per actual workout, especially if you kind of train similar to me where you just train super intensely and you're training to failure very often. So that's the first thing to avoid, and I think it's a huge one that a lot of people, especially when you're newer, make the mistake doing. And this can also appear in the form of redundancies in your training. So making sure that you understand specific movement patterns and what exercise works what is extremely important to avoid those redundancies. Because it could be the case that you're doing too much volume and you don't even know it. Moving on to set 2. And the second tip in a bit. And second thing you want to avoid if you're trying to make gains in the gym is doing too many warm-up reps. The reason why you want to avoid doing too many warm-up reps is you don't want to end up fatiguing yourself in your actual working set where you're trying to apply progressive overload. I see a lot of people doing like sets of like 10, sometimes 8 reps, let's say on like a bench press, and they're only like 10 pounds away from their actual working weight. Now, me personally, when I warm up, I take it super conservative. I always think I can be liberal with the amount of warm-up sets I'm doing, but when it comes to the warm-up reps, I cap it at like 1 to 3 reps most of the time. So what I mean by this is I think it's good to do many warm-up sets of like 1 to 3 reps because you want to comfortably scale up in weight, right? If you're trying to work up to, let's say, a 225-pound bench, you don't want to just do one warm-up set with the bar and jump into your working weight, 225 in this case. No, you want to slowly increase. Maybe you put on 95, and then after that you're at 135, and then 155, and then 185, then finally 225. However you want to do it. I like adding a lot of warm-up sets, but I make sure not to be anywhere close to failure on those warm-up sets, so I can actually put in work and I'm not fatigued by the time that I get to my actual working reps. And to give you some rough ranges that you can follow, I like doing for compound movements at least 3 warm-up sets before I actually jump into my working weight. And for smaller isolation exercises, I like to do at least 1 warm-up set before I actually jump into a working weight. Okay, let me get back to my workout. I'll see y'all at tip number 3. The third thing you want to avoid if you want to make gains in the gym is coming to the gym without any sort of plan. You see, there's two main workout factors when it comes to building muscle. It's one, maximizing mechanical tension experienced by the muscle, which is essentially tied to how hard you're actually pushing yourself in the gym. And we'll touch on this a little bit later. But the second factor is applying progressive overload over time, meaning making things harder in your workouts over time, either by adding weight, adding reps, increasing your active range of motion, slowing down the eccentric and adding a tempo. There's many ways to make an exercise harder, but because you know you have to make things harder over time, you need to be structured in your workouts, or else it's gonna be very hard to stay organized and making sure you're doing enough volume, you're actually training harder than last time. It's just not really optimal to be doing things that way. So I would say, if you're trying to make your own workout, start big picture with how many workout days you can commit per week. Based off of that, check out my best workout split to do video, which will kind of break it down, what workout split you should be doing depending on how many days you have. And then from there, you can start crafting what you're gonna be doing on each workout day. If you're doing a push-pull leg split, cool. For your push workouts, not only choose exercises that actually involve those muscles, but avoid redundancies in that workout that will lead to too much volume and just you wasting your time. Now another choice, if you're like, okay, Tyler, I don't want to create my own workout program, maybe you're busy or whatever the case it is, maybe you just want to fast track your progress, then I highly recommend you apply to my exclusive one-on-one fitness coaching program. It is 2024, people. It is time for you to actually get in the best shape of your life, so now is the perfect time to be joining. Part of everything is being consistent, so making sure you have enough accountability, personal guidance, of course a custom workout routine based off of your specific needs, as well as even a recommended meal plan and calories for you to follow. If this all sounds interesting to you, check out the link in the description, apply, and I will be in touch. Let's get it. Now, the fourth thing you should avoid in the gym if you're trying to optimize your muscle growth is doing cardio before your actual workout. Not to say that you shouldn't be doing cardio at all, since cardio is honestly a great tool for fat loss, helps you be able to get away with eating more calories. So overall, I like cardio. However, I don't like it when you do it before your workout, because when you're at the gym and it's a workout day, well, your main priority should be lifting weights, not necessarily cardio. And by doing cardio before lifting weights, you're just gonna accumulate more fatigue before you even start working out. Meaning you're not gonna be able to push as hard. You're probably not gonna be hitting PRs, applying progressive overload. So this is a quick and easy tip, but I always highly recommend working out before you actually do cardio. The only case I would see where doing cardio before your workout would actually be fine is if you have at least one meal, minimum like 3 hours in between. Maybe you're doing cardio in the morning and then you're working out at night. That would be fine. But if you're lifting weights back to back right after a cardio session, then it might not be the best thing for you. Lastly, the fifth thing you want to avoid in the gym to optimize your muscle growth is not training hard enough in the first place. And I get it can be kind of difficult to know if you're actually training hard enough or not. It's not as clear like if you're playing like an RPG video game or something. But in general, how you actually quantify workout effort is the distance you are away from a failure. So there's a concept, right? Reps in reserve. It's sometimes abbreviated as RIR, which comes from more like powerlifting style training, but can actually be used to measure your effort level. How I personally ensure that I'm training hard enough is I try to aim for an RIR below 3, meaning at the very least I stop 3 reps shy of failure. And when I say failure, I mean true failure, because there is one flaw with following RIR, and that is ultimately it's up to judgment. Because a lot of the time, people think they're at failure at around 8 reps, but in reality, if they really train to failure, they end up failing at around more so like 10 to 15 reps, for example. So people tend to underestimate their own ability because, of course, in the moment it feels hard. So on top of following RIR 3 and below, a way to counteract the flaw with RIR is by actually training failure in the first place. And what you can do is the last set of every single exercise you do, you take all the way to failure. And by doing that, it ensures that like you actually know that failure is at roughly 10 reps and you can kind of account for that because it is those later reps where your muscles experience the most mechanical tension, which of course is one of the two factors that result in muscle growth on the workout end. Another way you can actually make sure you're training hard enough, even if you're not trained to failure, is by slowing the eccentric of every single movement. Notice how I'm not just like dropping the weight back after I complete a rep. Instead, I'm slowing the descent back up to get a good stretch of my triceps and actually feel it. And before I actually go for that second rep, this way, you can actually end up training closer to failure at an earlier point than if you were neglecting the eccentric. Now, ultimately above everything else, consistency will always be the most important factor that dictates progress long term. So although the stuff I'm telling you can be a little bit overwhelming, don't let it discourage you and be willing to compromise if you're feeling burnt out. Because there comes a point in your fitness journey where this here, what I'm doing right now, actually becomes kind of fun. And making workouts harder and more grueling becomes a thing that you look forward to. Of course, there's off days where I don't want to work out, but I still show up anyways because not only do I have the discipline to do so, but it just becomes such a... hold on, I can't talk right now. I was saying, not only does it become discipline that helps you stay consistent, but also there comes a point where it's just so much of a habit to work out on XYZ day that when you don't work out, you feel a little bit weird. And once you reach that point, then you know you actually made it because it's only a matter of time. Granted that you're training hard enough, you're following the advice I give you, it's only a matter of time that you make the progress. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. So leave a like, it would be much appreciated. More content is gonna be coming out as I'm venturing throughout Thailand. So make sure to hit subscribe to see that. And of course, continue to level up your physique. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.